the thing that is doing the best right now, after everything you've heard in the news about it performing so poorly, are 416 condos. So what we want to talk about today is what's actually happening in the Toronto real estate market based on facts, not headlines and articles. There's a ton of headlines, a ton of articles, and you got to remember, they're all there to try to sell advertising on their platforms. So they need to have those really sparky and really exciting headlines to get you to jump on them so that they can sell advertising with their partners. What I'm going to do is distill what's actually happening in Toronto real estate. And when I say Toronto, I'm talking about the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board as a whole in November that just passed. So first thing we need to understand is where we came from last year. So last year in November, we had 5,947 properties sell across the Toronto Real Estate Board. This year we had 5,010 sell. What does that mean? It means that we're at a 15.7% decrease in volume. Now, how does that affect you as a consumer? It means there's now more choice on the market, because as active listings are going up and sales are going down, there's going to be more properties for you to look at, which is a great thing for most people who are purchasing, not so great thing for most people who are selling. Who it really negatively affects is your friendly neighborhood realtor. Essentially, if they had the same programs, the same systems as they did last year, they're at a 15.7% decrease in their business. And that's painful to a lot of realtors. And we are seeing realtors leave the business by a factor of about 10% year over year. Now, in terms of pricing, if I look at November 24 to November 25, last year our average sale price across the board was $1,110,000. This year it's $1,039,000. So that's a 6.3% decrease. When you're looking at November over November. Of course, our December stats aren't out yet, but when they are, I'll get them to you guys as soon as I can. Which is challenging for a lot of homeowners. You know, a lot of people had to renew their mortgages, and a lot of people made investments that they thought were going to carry them in a certain way, and it just hasn't worked out for people. Who it is working out for is for people who need to get into the market right now. Now, there are a couple of factors, a couple of economic indicators that I like to look at every month, and one of them is our real GDP growth. So Canada's real GDP growth is down 1.6%, and our Toronto employment growth is up 0.5%. Now, our unemployment rate is fairly stable. It's at 8.9%. Of course, this affects our real estate market. And our inflation, we're at 2.4%. So we're in that range that the Bank of Canada is trying to be at. Now, of course, the rate, everyone likes to talk about the rate. And there are two different rates. There's the Bank of Canada overnight rate, which is 2.3%. And then you have your prime rate, which is 4.7%. So both of these are very much in the normal range. They're not in the emergency monetary policy range that we saw during COVID, but they're very, very normal. So when we're looking at mortgage rates, they're standard right now. They're not high, they're not low, they're fairly standard. Now, when we get into 416 versus 905, 416, we will start with average price. Your average price of a 416 condo is $701,000, which is down 1.7% year over year. They're stable. Your 416 townhouse is $870,000, which is down 3.7% year over year. No problem. Fairly stable. Not great, but it's hanging in there. Your semi-detached in the 416 is down 4.8% year over year. I think we'll do better with those next year, but still fairly stable. And unfortunately for your 416 detached market, they're at 1.5 million and they're down about 9% year over year. Now, when you flip into the 905, your average 905 condo is $583,000, which is down 8.7% year over year. Your average townhouse in 905 is $822,000, which is down 7.4. Your semi-detached is at $853,000, which is down 11%. And your detached in the 905 is at $1,275,000, which is down 8%. Now, very interestingly, the market leader, the thing that is doing the best right now, after everything you've heard in the news about it performing so poorly, are 416 condos. Does this mean that we are at the bottom of the market for 416 condos? That I can't predict, but definitely of all the product and all the inventory on the market, your 416 condos are performing the best. And your market loser right now is your 905 semi-detached. I think the reason for that is the return to work back downtown. I think it's the traffic situation and the pricing of the 416 properties going lower brings people back into the Toronto marketplace. So if we're looking at it, year over year, right now, total, the big thing, average price down 6.4%, and your market leader in November 2025 is 416 condos. Haven't been able to say that in a while, so it's nice to say. And your market loser is 905 semi-detached. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit here. If you have any other questions or other things that you think we should cover in this, I would be more than welcome to hear your feedback.